Hello students, this is your English lesson. In this lesson, we are going to read unit number 12, Rice Ball Wishes from Oxford Reading Circle 6. So we start our lesson. This is page number 109 from your book. So we start our reading together. An old lady by the name of Yu had adopted three 11-year-old boys from an orphanage. Their names were Lanjua, Sojo, and Gaosa. Lady Yu dressed Lanjua and Sojo in fine clothes, and she sent them to school to get a proper education. Gaosa, who was blind, was treated like a servant. He was dressed in old, ragged of clothes old and torn. Clothes. He was dressed in old, ragged clothes and fed leftover food. He was required to attend to the old lady's needs and not sent to school. One night, while everyone was asleep, a fire broke out in the rice storage room. It soon spread the main house. Gauser yelled, warning everyone the moment he sensed the heat from the fire. Langua and Sawyer, awakened by the call, got up and rushed out of the house. Gauser knew Lady Yu had difficulty moving about on her own. He hurried to help her, hurried done in hurry. The fire was now circling around them. Quick, Lady Yu, let your eyes be my guide. With Gaza carrying Lady Yu and Lady Yu giving directions, they were soon out of danger. You risked your life to save mine. You are a brave and unselfish boy. Gaza, I have finally found a worthy recipient for the rice ball. I can rest in peace now, the old lady said. Then she handed a rice ball to Gaza. The rice ball can grant wishes. You may make one wish every year, two every other year, or three every 3 years. Should the rice ball be broken, all that it has granted will be lost. Take care of it. Wish wisely. Then she took her last breath and shut her eyes forever. Langua and Sojo left Gauser to bury the old lady by himself. Before he buried her, Gauser said sadly, I wish I could see, then I would have a memory of her. No sooner had he he finished wishing when Gauser's wish came true. His eyes opened and he could see. He was overjoyed. He enrolled himself in school, got a job at a local store, and started to rebuild the house. The intense heat and fumes from the fire must have opened his eyes, the people in the village speculated. Langua and Sojo, on the other hand, did not accept such an explanation. They went to ask Gausa. When he told them about the rice ball, they insisted that he share the rice ball with them. Gausa gladly agreed, and he gave them the same advice the old lady had given him. What are your wishes? Gausa asked. A house with plenty of food to eat at all times, Langua answered. It would be nice if we could get high grades in school without studying hard, Solio added. Just as they had wished, there a house stood right across the old lady's that had just burned down. In it was plenty of food to be found in the storage room and on the dining table. Langua and Sojo each picked up a pear to eat. Instantly, two more pears appeared to replace the ones they had eaten. They then found themselves able to solve complicated multiplication and division problems without taking a lesson. This is just what we want. We don't ever have to go to school or work or be hungry ever. And that was exactly what they did. They were happy to be sitting around, eating, playing, and resting their lazy bodies day after day. Kasa was also happy, for he was doing what he loved most, learning. He read and studied he read and studied all he could. 3 years flashed by. It was time for the boys, now 14 years old, to each make his second wish. What do you wish for? Gosser asked. A house of my own by the river with a chest full of gold, just a large, strong box. Landra answered. This the rice ball granted. I wish also for a house of my own, only larger than Landra's. And instead of by the river, it shall be on top of the hill, and 2 chests full of gold. Soju expressed his wish. This the rice ball granted. I would like to have a library full of books, many books, enough to keep me busy for the next 3 years, said Gosser, smiling. This the rice ball granted. Landra and Soju laughed. Books? You cannot eat them or buy fancy things with them. Books are but volumes of dull words, they remarked. Gosser went on to spend the next 3 years reading, while still attending school and working at the local store. Landra and Soju went to live in their own houses with chests full of gold. They spent the next 3 years playing, eating, and resting their lazy bodies. It was then time for the boys, now 17 years old, to make their third wishes. Landra and Soju promptly arrived at Gosser's door. Landra greedily requested, I want a mansion. Mansion, a large, impressive house, to replace the house I have. The following must come with it: one room full of gold, a beautiful and well-behaved wife who will bear me many healthy and strong sons, and a title for me. I wish to be the most successful and the smartest gardener this village has ever known. Soju greedily requested, I also want a mansion to replace my old house. The following must come with it: 2 rooms full of gold, a wife more beautiful and better behaved than Landra's, who shall bear me many healthy and strong sons. I wish to be the most successful and the smartest merchant this village has ever known. And for you, Gosser? They asked. I would like to have more books, Gosser answered with hesitation. Hesitation, feeling uncertainty or doubt. Landra and Soju laughed, shook their heads, and said, Will you ever learn to be smart? The rice ball granted all 3 wishes. Landra and Soju were pleased with their new life arrangements. As for Gosser, he continued to read, study, and work as hard as he had done before. On his 20th birthday, he acquired a job as a teacher. He also married the daughter of a store owner. It was time for the young men to make their 4th wishes. By this time, Landra and Soju each had 2 sons. Wish wisely, advised Gosser. I wish to keep the rice ball to myself. It shall grant wishes only to me. Landra said hurriedly, Not! It shall grant wishes only to me, Soju shouted, and he reached out to grab the ball. I wished for it first, Landra argued, struggling with Soju, fighting for the rice ball. Clink! The rice ball fell to the floor, where it shattered, broken into very small pieces. Shattered into many pieces. What have you done? Gosser yelled. Then he cried out, I cannot see, I cannot see. The rice ball had taken Gosser's eyesight away as quickly as it had granted it to him. 9 years ago, all the books vanished as well. Langua and Swajo rushed off to check on their own possessions. Possessions, the act of having control. But they found only weeds and wildflowers where their mansions had been. Their wives and children were also now here to be seen. There was not one piece of gold left anywhere. The real nightmare came when Lanjua and Swajo discovered that they had lost their positions. Instead of the well known and successful governor and merchant, they were nobody. In fact, they were no longer able to read or write or do simple arithmetic. Arithmetic, the branch of mathematics dealing with the properties of number. When Lanjua and Swajo heard that Gosser had managed to keep his teaching job, they went to see him. How is it that you have lost your eyesight and all the books, but you are still able to read and write? Questioned Lanjua. And you haven't lost your wife? Swajo puzzled, unable to understand. My eyesight was granted by the rice bowl, thus it was its to claim. However, what I have seen with my eyes, it can never deprive me of. Prevent from having something. The books were given to me by the rice bowl, so they were its to take away. But what I have read and learned is mine to keep. The knowledge I have acquired to get something. The rice ball has no power to claim. The same goes for my wife. I did not ask the rice ball for her. She is every bit as real as you and I. Lanjua and Swajo learned of their stupidity and selfishness. They were very sorry and ashamed. They became the oldest students in the school, but they were the most dedicated, devoted to task. They had learned that life was what they chose to make of it. They no longer wished to waste another precious moment, precious of great value. Master Gosser was recognized as one of the wisest and the most caring teachers ever to teach in China. There on his desk always sat on an ordinary rice ball, which obviously had been glued back together from many broken pieces. Exercises. Questions. 1. How was Gosser treated differently at home? Answer. Gosser, who was blind, was given old clothes and kept at home to look after the old lady's needs. 2. Do you think Lady Niyu rewarded Gosser well for his courage and dedication? Give reasons for your answer. Answer. Yes, I think Lady Niyu rewarded Gosser well. Gosser had served her life despite being blind, and the rice ball would grant him 3 wishes to have a comfortable life. 3. Why did Landwa and Swajo wish for plenty of food and high grades at school and not for anything else? Answer. Landwa and Swajo were greedy and lazy. They did not want to work hard to achieve anything. They were used to being given fine things at the orphanage without doing any work to deserve them. 4. How were Gosser's wishes different from those of his brothers? Answer. Gosser's wishes were not selfish or greedy. He wished for books that gave him knowledge that could not be taken away from him. 5. If you had you been in Gosser's place, what would you have wished for? Answer. If I had been in Gosser's place, I would have wished for a huge place where I could keep all the stray animals safely. There would be enough food for them and toys to play with. 6. What had Gosser gained by choosing wisely? Answer. The books gave him knowledge, with which he got a job as a teacher. He became known all over China as the most caring teacher. He also did not lose his wife because she had not been granted by the ball. 7. Why do you think Gosser kept the rice ball with glued pieces on his desk? Answer. I think Gosser kept the rice ball with glued pieces to remind him of the importance of hard work. Every time he would look at it, he would remember that things that are gained by hard work remain for a longer time. B. Reference to context. Read these lines from the story and then answer the questions. 1. I have finally found a worthy recipient for the rice ball. A. Who says these words and to whom? Answer. Lady Niu to Gosser. B. Why is this decision taken? Answer. Gosser, despite being blind, risked his own life to save her from the fire. See what happens to the speaker shortly afterwards. Answer. She dies. 2. Lanjua and Suajo, on the other hand, did not accept such an explanation. A. What is the explanation they do not accept? Answer. That the fumes and heat from the fire had made Gosser see again. B. What brings about the explanation in the first place? Answer. Gosser wished to have his sight, which the rice ball granted, and he could see. C. What do Lanjua and Suajo do after this? Answer. They go to Gosser to find out the truth and ask for things for themselves. Lanjua asks for a house and plenty of food. Suajo asks to be able to get good results without studying hard. C. Words and meaning. 1. Use suitable words from the story to fill in the blanks. A. Ahmad, the fastest runner in the school, was the recipient of the gold medal. B. When the absent landlord returned to find the shattered window, he speculated that some children had broken it. C. Everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong on the trip. It was an absolute nightmare. D. For misbehaving, the boy was deprived of the chance to go to the cinema. E. 3 wishes were granted to each of the brothers. 2. Use these words in sentences of your own. A. Get. Now go home and get some rest. Acquire. He has acquired great knowledge of medicine. Gain. She finally gained permission for the research work in the laboratory. B. Endlessly. Sarah talked endlessly about her beautiful farmhouse and pet animals. Continuously. It rains continuously. Continually. He is continually disturbing the class. C. Enrolled. We enrolled him as a member of the society. Joined. They were joined by a newcomer. Subscribed. How much did you subscribe? 3. Find opposites for these words in the story. A. Obscurely. Obviously. B. Lost. Found. C. Energetic. Lazy. D. Moderate. Fancy. Thanks for listening. For new videos, don't forget to subscribe my channel. And if you like my videos, please share and like.